Okay, again, we are live from Devcon. Welcome, Vasily Sumanov. You'll introduce Valueverse today. And first of all, congratulations again for winning the fellowship prize. You've been fellowship candidate and actually started working on the Valueverse framework a while ago. This was also the topic of your live track that you have been running at the Academy. And now you've made progress with this framework, and this is what we'll discuss today: value capture and how to measure token health. Maybe first of all, please introduce yourself and share a little bit about your journey in crypto.
Yeah, thanks, Angela, for having me here. So my journey was a little bit non-traditional. So I'm not a person with financial background or computer science background. I'm a person with chemical background. So I graduated from the university as an inorganic chemistry specialist. I worked a lot in lithium-ion batteries space, making my PhD. So I was introduced to crypto in 2013, when I started mining Litecoins, and I started making some industrial scale mining farm with my brother. It was a quite fun time that days. I saw a lot of coins and some projects that the majority of them are totally forgotten at this time. So, and in 2017, when the ICO era started, and I was already mining Ethereum almost 2 years. So I found out that there are new projects with new tokens, and nobody understood what these tokens are about. And like I said, that I found only maybe one white paper that has some token design description. It was a basic attention token white paper, taking into account that this project was built by the ex-Mozilla developers, so they was quite sophisticated in doing something quite well. So this was the first where I saw some attempt to understand what is a basic attention token about. They discussed this Fisher's equation and all value transfer type of thing. And at the same time, I was invited to some projects to help them with white papers, to help them with making better products, I can say, because I was long time in crypto. In comparison with those people who try to do the ICOs that were like 2 months in crypto, 3 months in crypto, and I started to do white papers, start to writing articles, making some research, and I was introduced more and more to the field, and I understood that this token design part of Web3 is totally underrated. Nobody really is interested. Nobody understands how it really works. There even were no stable coins that day. So all the trading pairs were against Bitcoin, and the Bitcoin was the real asset to transfer value in crypto. Nobody knows what USDT that day. So, yeah, and I was lucky that in 2018 I moved to Berlin, started working in DeFi project there, and I met Angela, I met other early members of the community, and we start to dig into all of this, in some meetups, some events, try just to share, information, try to just understand what we are doing there, because it was the question: is this about the complex system design, or it is about the economics, or it is about the mathematics, or it is about? And of course, we finally found out it's about everything. That every discipline has its particular share, and if you don't understand something. For example, if you don't understand economics, you can do beautiful models, but they will make no sense in the real world, right? If you don't understand system design, you can make some beautiful, ideas, but this will crash, and the community will, it's all the project will fail. So, and I think this is how my journey started in token engineering. I mean, more professionally, because before it was like some personal research, and after that I teamed up with like-minded people who also want to understand how it really works, and try to avoid some scam tokens, and try to do something that really has some economic background and fundamentals at least. So in 2019 I got a prize on the hackathon, the first token engineering hackathon ever, as I know at least, and it was super exciting because I saw that the Siemens company was also involved in the task creation for this hackathon, and also some really sophisticated, solid developers from Casper Labs, as I remember. So this was some milestone in the journey, I think. So, and yeah, at that time, I already did some token model for projects. Some of them were successful, some of them were not, of course, because when you're working with early stage startups, not all of them are going to be some unicorns or something. And at the same time, I analyze the tokens to understand maybe I can, invest in some tokens, right? So I need to make more weighted decisions because you cannot get any information how this token is designed. I mean, for 99% of projects, even now you cannot. And that days it was totally impossible. Maybe you can only understand the design of Ethereum and Bitcoin. Yeah. So, and over the years, I dig more and more from the analytics point of view and from the token designer point of view, pursued a lot in the academy. There were some research groups, also IMMs, DeFi, balance grants. So we made not only just pure token designs. I think it was like comprehensive education in space because the different mechanics are also important to be understand if you want to build some protocol and liquidity for the token, for example. So yeah, and finally, with the help of Angela and Sebnem and people who try to write a book, token engineering, I think I was like very delicately forced to put my thoughts on something more, feasible, like at least an article, not just like talks in co-working. So this was how this token classification framework was born, and really capturing theory as I defined it was born. So I just combined it all, the experience, all my understanding. It's 95% was practical experience, I think. No, I'm not a theoretist here. So, and in 2023, when I saw the MIT, when I saw the call of papers from MIT, from the Crypto Economic Systems Journal, I thought, okay, now it's the time. I need to finally combine what was done for the book. I need to combine what was done for all the lectures for the community education. I mean, every material that I have, I need to combine them into a real academic piece of scholarship. And just to deliver it, I made the article. I got rejected by MIT, but I think it was even good because I had a chance to improve what I'm doing. So I think if you're doing something, you need to be rejected to improve your results and get accepted on the better level of quality. So yeah, finally my article is accepted in the GBBA after the 6 months of conversations with reviewers, because there were a lot of questions because not everybody understood this, field so deep. Finally, I answered all the questions. I got a final approval that paper is going to be published in coming months. No changes anymore are required to this paper. So yeah, I delivered some lectures. I was really happy to get the opportunity to make some educational course fully pledged, because it was the first time when I made the proposal with all the details, what people will learn, what is the homework. I mean, it's like academically designed course, not like just for fun course. So I delivered the lectures. I got an nomination for fellowship. I won it, but it's a small surplus, maybe 0.5%. And this was first anonymous voting that I saw, and there was a part of it. It was super fun because nobody really knows who is going to win at the time. And the only final results were open. I mean, everyone see them the first time. Nobody knows there's some insider, information for that. Yeah, I'm so happy that the community decided me, to get this fellowship prize. So as I said before, when I was, during the educational course, I decided to use it for, building something on top of my classification framework. And I already spent this fellowship prize for people who were contributing to it, so I didn't take any money for myself. So yeah, and after getting this fellowship prize, after getting several new projects, so I get several tier 1 projects to work on token designs, and hopefully in the future, maybe on the next podcast, I will provide some insights. What is this about and how the tokens will design. I think it will be super helpful because it's all the projects are live with huge TVL, a lot of users and stuff. But at the same time, I applied to the Optimism grant, Superchain Optimism grant. There also TIC was involved. I mean, I don't remember what is the combination of communities and organizations who provided this grant, but there was Optimism and TIC to make the token health metrics, because I've found this super exciting to use the decomposition to origins of value and mechanisms to be as a starting point for building metrics. Because until you create something detailed about the token design, because if you access token as some object, it is not decomposed to the smaller pieces that you can really understand and make some metrics for them using on-chain data. You cannot do a real metrics for token utility, maybe besides some fees which are evident, right? So yeah, I got this grant. I'm working on token health metrics. We're building this approach. And doing all of this, I thought, but why we cannot do this kind of thing for the whole Web3? Why not? Because there's
obviously, this topic of value capture is something that got you excited for a while now. Can we maybe before we dig into this framework, I cut this out. Can we please, before we dig into the framework, first let's define value capture. What is value capture?
Yep, I think it's a good starting point. So, so at this moment, when I think 99% of people try to analyze tokens, they see the surface level indicators, right? Market price, TVL liquidity, but this is the reflection of value capture, processes through some lens of market forces and understanding of like narratives and speculation sometimes, of course. And for me, value capture, discussion arises from, okay, I have a token, what I can do with it, what value this token can bring to, I mean, besides that I can go to the open market and sell it right away. So, for example, and I started to think about this from like some kind of first principles, and what I'm thinking, so there is a kind of a system, and in crypto projects, even in some centralized projects, even in this case, the majority of value is created by the interaction of agents participating in the project. For example, if you will take the well-known Uniswap example, which is not a blockchain, right? We're not talking about Unichain. I mean, the Uniswap is a DEX. Every person who makes a trade, he left some fees, which makes the liquidity provision more attractive. Every person who creates a pool adds new routing to the all roads in the Uniswap for swapping assets. Every person who deploys some capital for liquidity position adds liquidity to the whole system, makes it more attractive for traders. So it means that any kind of interaction with Uniswap provides value to the Uniswap as a project and creates some kind of conditional value inside Uniswap, which we cannot directly assess because there is, I think, no methodology for that at this time. I mean, no clear methodology how to do this. But what we can assess, we can think, okay, if there is a big conditional value created in Uniswap, and this is no doubt, it's leading DEX on the majority of rollups in the Ethereum mainnet, everybody uses it, even they don't have any token incentive, anything, right? It's a real product that got perfect product market fit, right? But so, and we see this conditional value, how we can, get at least a piece of it to the token. We don't, now we also have some protocol, as I remember, but before we just have a governance, right? But so, so the value capturing is a process of converting conditional value to some intrinsic value of the token. When I say converting, it's not like a direct conversion, it's not like a exchange like on DEX or SEX. It's like how a token can get this value from the ecosystem, and this value, and the foundation of this value is the function of a token. The person uses this function, for example, influences the decision making. For example, getting some exclusive access to some private community. For example, getting some protocol fees. For example, just getting the opportunity to buy something uniquely, because if you will think about the Ethereum, you can buy block space in Ethereum only with Ethereum. You cannot update the state or make a transaction in Ethereum without Ethereum, and only this effect is the value for the user, right? Because if you do some transaction, maybe you make some trade, maybe you make making some project, need some NFT, make something what you need to make on chain. So the value capturing is a process of extracting coordinational value as intrinsic value of token. It majority of cases can be even non-monetary, not directly assessed as a monetary, good. For example, the access, how you can assess access. But for some people, access is very important. Yeah. So, and the protocol fees, because the majority of people think that protocol fees are the main value capturing, and in some projects it's true, but I mean it's just one of examples of the whole set of examples how the value can be captured from the digitalized systems.
Okay, and I think the real innovation you bring with Valueverse and the value capturing framework is that we are now able to classify value capture. You also have this term origins of value. So maybe you can give us a first overview on how we can assess value capture.
Yep. So let's move to the more details. So yeah, when I start to dig into this coordinational value and how to extract it to the token, and when I say extract, it's not like rent extraction like in some kind of like there is a subsystem you take out of the value and the system dies. Now, in the majority of cases, this value that is brought to the token, it's mainly not harmful for the system. It's more, like, for example, people do the governance decisions and they get some governance value in exchange, and they help the system to thrive. So, right? So. Yeah, so let's do the brief of origins of value. So we are talking about the demand side, how this token captures value from the distributed systems, right? So, and let's go to the definition. So the original value is like a GR. It's like a theoretical concept mainly. It's a economic pattern that is based on some policy applied to the token. It reflects coordinational value and like allows token to capture this coordinational value. So what I mean, the system policy is the most tricky part here because not everyone understands. The system policy is basically the rules of token usage. For example, Uniswap, one token, one vote. You need to have this token on the balance before this vote started, or if this vote is not eligible for the voting. So if you see this Uniswap case, it's means that you can have a unique opportunity to manage some limited resources of Uniswap DAO, but if you comply to certain very simple rules, like having token balance before the vote started to avoid some attacks on the governance. So now, of course, Uniswap token gets more and more origins of value because of the protocol fees that we introduced, because of the unit chain that comes out soon, and it will be much more rich value capturing map there, I think. So, but yeah, so original value is some elementary function. You can uniquely like transfer value with this token. Okay, it's a value transfer. You can get some protocol fees. It's future cash flow. You can vote and influence decisions in some governance. It's governance. If you can access to something, it's access. So we will go to this origins of value. So, but the much more interesting concept is mechanism, because the like tokens, they're mainly quite complicated assets with a lot of functions sometimes, and how to understand all these interactions, this origins of value, how they depend on each other, how they maybe amplify each other, how to make evaluation when you have like 5 origins of value. It's much more complicated than one, right? So, and this is where the value capture mechanism concept comes into play. So it's basically economic mechanism which is composed from several origins of value. Of course, the trivial mechanism can have only one, like a empty set is also a set, right? Something like this. So, and the third definition is value capture implementation pattern. So it's less used at this moment because it's more about the code implementations. But it what was ever introduced, it was introduced to distinguish the economic mechanisms that we can theoretically describe as the particular implementations with code, because you can implement the same economic mechanisms like with economics, a lot of different options, different variables, but at the same, it's always the same economic mechanism. You can make the almost, I think, the like 99% similar metrics to all of them, to all this family of token mechanisms. So it's done for simplification, because I think that mixing the economic design and the code implementations in token design provides a lot of complexity. So, and yeah, if we will talk about the mechanical analogy, this is like one GR, the 2 GRs, like a theoretical mechanism, and the value capture implementation pattern is like bike chain. And if you will see the bike, like in philosophical point of view, you will understand that bike without this bike chain is worthless. You cannot drive the bike without the bike chain, or you can just move it mechanically, right? The same as you cannot create a like Ethereum blockchain without Ethereum. It's like a heart. It's like a core, nuclear reactor on the spaceship. Without it, it will be died. So, and yeah, this is what you need to refer to when you want to understand it more deeply.
I think this is a great analogy. Would you say that, because you're referring to Ether here as being the chain, so to say, as being the fuel for the economic system, am I on the right track here?
Yep. So first of all, so Ethereum as a token in Ethereum blockchain solves two problems, right? Solves the problem of access to the block space because block space is limited and if you have a limited good in any economic system, you need to have some algorithm how to access this good, right? On some market mechanics or some algorithm to access this good. And if there will be no gas, no pricing of mathematical operations in Ethereum, it means that you can deploy and endless cycles. You can attack the network with a lot of spam transactions, and the network will never serve well. At the same time, we need to have a consensus, right? Long time ago, it's already looks like ancient times. Ethereum used proof of work. I remember when it was, even we cannot imagine that there will be proof of stake because Vitalik always said that it will be able to 2017, 2018, and no proof of stake. But finally, 2022, we got proof of stake. I think we're all happy with that. So, and now the consensus security is also run by Ethereum holders, right? You need to deploy a node, make a staking there, and put your Ethereum on the economic risk, so you can lose your Ethereum in case of misbehavior. But what is very important, if everyone will be able to stake Ethereum, participate in block production, without any chance to lose Ethereum in case of attacks, everybody will attack Ethereum, and finally, they will crash the consensus, I think, right? So if you don't have any penalties, you don't have any economic security, and finally this network wouldn't be alive. So the fact that this network is alive with thousands of validators works well, works much better than a lot of very high deep tech cool L1s that sometimes are unfortunately offline, shows that this economic design is quite good. And also some additional features like E1559 that balances the supply and demand for Ethereum. Also, but it's so Ethereum can operate without E1559. I mean, of course, there will be some inflation. Of course, it will be devalued a little bit because of this inflation. But I mean, the network will still fly. But this, like additional economic rule, just made it more attractive for validators to participate in the network. So it's just improved the whole economic processes there. But the main two pieces why Ethereum token is critically needed is the block space auction and the consensus. So basically the two parts of the blockchain that because the product of blockchain is a state, the safe states and the block space, which is secured by the consensus. You cannot violate it, you cannot crash it, you cannot manipulate. Yeah.
So fundamentally, we can look at ETH, and I think this is a new perspective you bring with Valueverse. We look at the token not as means of exchange, as a currency. It's rather the key element, like the chain, that allows a network to capture value.
I think in case of Ethereum, this is not only allowing to capture value, it's allowing to exist. Yeah. Because the Ethereum staking and slashing is a conditional requirement. Without this requirement, it wouldn't be alive. So why Ethereum is so good example, because this is when the token is critically needed. There are some, for example, DeFi protocols. Okay, if you will remove governance, yes, the team will make all the decisions, but the product like IMM pool will be still alive. Maybe the environment around this product, maybe the token incentives wouldn't be distributed according to the community needs. Maybe something else will be not done in a centralized way, but the product will still exist. In the case of Ethereum, the product wouldn't exist. Not possible to make Ethereum without Ethereum. That's what I want to mention. So, and of course, after the Ethereum is created, it works. And now that, of course, this asset appreciates in value, it captures value from the network based on the block space, demand and limited supply of block space, right? Based on that you can get proceeds from the consensus as a future cash flows in exchange of your block validation work. Yes.
Okay, I know that you already published some work where you analyze existing token systems and break it down, looking at the origins of value, looking at their value capturing mechanism. Maybe we can go over one example to understand how the framework helps to explore and understand a token network.
Yep. Well, let's try to briefly go over. I think so. Let's see the several simple examples. The work token, which is good new wave of popularity after the Eigenlayer, because it's interesting. But Eigenlayer and LivePeer, for example, they have this totally same economic mechanism, even being totally different projects, different implementation. Even in Eigenlayer, you even don't have a node to lock your tokens, but the process is very similar. So how the work token works, you have a risk exposure, mainly the coordinational requirement where you need to, for example, stake tokens, or at least put the tokens under risk, like in Eigenlayer. If you participate in disputes, your tokens can be, you can lose a significant share of your tokens if you vote for the option which you would lose in the intersubjective dispute. So you have some cryptoeconomic security part or risk exposure, so you can lose a share of your tokens in case of misbehavior. And in case of live peer, for example, misbehavior is not transcoding video files, and in Eigenlayer, misbehavior is voting for like non-legit option, for example. Let's save time a little bit here. So conditional action that, for example, you need to make a informed decision and vote, and in case of behavior, you will lose your tokens, at least part. So the Eigenlayer can be considered as a voting system where you can lose tokens, because before there is no kind of like voting where you can lose tokens if you not win, right? And in live peer, you need to provide the work to the network, you need to run the GPU farm and transcode video, and in exchange of your work, which is secured by cryptoeconomic security part or the stake, which I said before, you're getting a future cash flow as a some payments for this successfully delivered work. And this is quite simple. So you can make an assessment of the risk, you make assessment of how expensive is this conditional action, how expensive is your computer, GPU farm, internet access, electricity, everything. And the cash flow, you can make evaluations here. You can start to doing it. At least you can make metrics. So it's something that is like you demystify the work tokens. For example, if you go to the discount tokens, a lot of frameworks that I analyzed in my paper say the discount token is like separate type of a token. Mm-hmm. But it is not, because it's a simple mechanism. You have a future cash flow. So I define all your savings using discount tokens as your future cash flow. Like you're using some miles in airlines, right? You pay less for the ticket. You saved maybe $100, $200. It's your future cash flow, right? Using these points, you get this value to your pocket, even if you didn't get it. I mean, like paper bills. You got it because you spent less on the flight that you anyway need to take. So, but all the discounts is depending on conditional action or the amount of product usage. For example, if you're using BNB for trading on Binance, the more trading volume you created, the more so you can save the same share in relative terms, but the bigger amount of US dollars in absolute terms, right? So your future cash flow totally depends on your amount of product usage. So this is how discount tokens are discussed. So, and if you want to get one famous example, because I think everybody loves curve, you can go really fast to the curve. Mm-hmm. Something that I didn't present in some community lectures. So this is the curve famous token that started this big wave of voters growth economics as they were defined. So the idea here is that if you have a token on your wallet, it has no utility. You cannot get any value from the system that is built, right, from the curve DAX. But if you lock this token for a certain amount of time, starting from 7 days up to 4 years, which is also the coordination requirement in voting. So you cannot, for example, borrow tokens, vote for some very bad decision, and sell these tokens right away and return these tokens to the foreign lending market. So this also helps Curve to avoid attacks on the governance system. So if you lock your token, what you get? First of all, you're getting the protocol fees or the share of all trading fees on Curve DAX. Second, you get the governance rights to vote on all the questions, including the reward distribution across the Curve pools, which was most attractive, most valuable part in terms of governance, interest. And if you make conditional action, if you really vote, you get all the governance value. And it was the first project where we can see how governance value has a monetary representations. So there was a so-called bribe system where some projects can commit some token rewards or so-called bribes to get more rewards to their pools. And this was quite interesting process to investigate, because before there was no governance that has direct bribes that we can assess, make on-chain metrics, and see how much money you can make on bribes, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, and the third piece of bit economics is you're boosting the curve pools. So if you provide some liquidity into the curve pools, having the token position at the same time based on of the size of the V token position and size of your liquidity amount that you provide to the pool, you can get additional token incentives on top of regular token incentives in this pool. So we can account this as a future cash flow. It depends on the amount of liquidity that you provide to conditional action, and depends also on the risk exposure, on the amount of your risk exposure. The more tokens you lock for a longer time, the more share of the rewards you will get. So, and yeah, this is like a 3 legs of V economics. And what is beautiful here, you can delete this part, or you can delete this part, or you can even delete this part, and this will be still the mechanism that it will work. And I think now we have more than 50 projects in DeFi across all the rollups that using some kind of V economics. So if we will build metrics, and we will, we are already doing it. For example, for Velodrone, which is the V economics without this third part, we can use the same metric set for all of them. So, and this is the the value of this approach, that you don't need to make 100 metrics for 100 projects. You can make it once and maybe a little bit adapt to some missing origins of value, and that's it. And yeah, let's move forward.
I think that's also the beauty of the Valueverse framework, because you started with analyzing existing token mechanisms and components in a token network, again, origins of value. And once we have that, we can start building on this when designing new token systems, to not start from scratch, reinvent the wheel again and again, because what we already know in token engineering, it's good to build on certain primitives that are already there, that are well tested, where we have a good understanding how we measure performance, where we have a good understanding on attack vectors. So what's your vision for the Valueverse framework to become in the next 2 years?
Yes, so you're totally right about the primitives, because if you will see how the industry develops, it forks and forks and forks. So there was a banker, they used the banker, I mean, somehow, right, to create USRV1, then USRV2, then everybody fork USRV2 on all the chains, rollups, and any kind of chains. So, and I mean that the best option to get adoption in the industry is not creating everything from scratch, as you said. It's evolution. So you took the existing code, you took the existing idea that already worked, and maybe you improve it a little bit, maybe you change something, but make it like next version or next implementation of it, and you move forward. And if you have the GitHub for all the code, if all these repositories, all this open source, we don't have anything on token design, nothing. You can just read a random blog post or maybe some video podcast of some smart guys who are doing something behind closed doors. And this is also okay, because the consulting firms, they don't want to reveal all the secrets, and I'm okay with this. Please do. But I mean, anyway, even if you want to learn about famous token designs like Curve, you need to do your own research, or maybe you can find a blog post 2 years old. So, but what if we will have a full database of token designs and token research results, and the best token research result and token design result is on-chain metrics of real project? Because you can make a lot of theory, but if you can see the curve with like almost 4 years of on-chain data devoted to this economics that you can extract from the the Dune analytics, for example, and build all the charts, everything, and all the trends, and see what was the value capture contributions of bribes, of governance, of all these protocol fees, how it's corresponding with the TVL, what was the inflation. For example, Curve is brilliant project from the MM point of view. From the, I think that VT Economics is one of the best economics designers so far for DeFi. There are a lot of skeptics and critics, and I totally accept this, but they also say this token price was failed. Token price was failed. I said, guys, token price was failed not because the VT Economics becomes economically not stable. It's because there was hyperinflation, too much inflation. The supply side was not so balanced. In Ethereum, there was the same problem. Supply side was too big, but E1559 balanced this in a good way, right? As you can remember. So let's go to the Valueverse and to open the tab, the Valueverse. So yeah, so what was my idea with Valueverse? It was to scale this approach from the theoretical nerdy approach that is only delivered to the students of the Academy and some friends in the space, to make it more open and to provide people some information on token designs. Because if you want to analyze token designs, you need to do it yourself. You need to do 99% of work yourself. And the only thing that you can find like some good information on Bitcoin, Ethereum, maybe Solana, I mean, maybe like top 5, top 7 blue chips. And if for some other projects, if there were some enthusiastic people build something on Dune, but they build without any methodology, they build on their own, they build what they want. And sometimes it's really good, but sometimes it's outdated, that something was changed in the contracts or it's something. So there is no like source of information on token designs besides random talks. So, and what we have today, we have like CoinGecko, CoinMarketCap, and Messari, the main 3 token trackers, famous ones. I'm a user of all of them. I have all the solutions in Messari, so I'm a proud user of all these products. And also Token Terminal, which is a little bit aside because it's more closed and you need to buy subscriptions to access to the majority of the information. But anyway, so what ordinary person can get, only market metrics. So it's price, market cap, liquidity, and that's it. If you want to learn about token design, you need to do your own research, build on Dune, build on other analytical platforms, and that's it. So the CoinGecko, CoinMarketCap, and Messari don't provide you any information on token design. Maybe on Messari there are some rare examples of some research of token valuation for some particular projects, but it's also static reports. They delivered it, and 1 week it's outdated, 1 month. So, and how to overcome this problem. So I thought, why we cannot make this, apply this Valueverse value capturing approach to just all the tokens. Now we have like 15K of tokens that CoinGecko tracks and millions of tokens that CoinMarketCap tracks. I think the only difference is that there's some meme coins that CoinGecko don't want to track, maybe because it's not real productive assets, right? Not assets to attach to some real projects. But yeah, I started to analyze all of this, and I found that every token trackers provide market metrics, and it's okay, right? It's quite easy. You just parse all the checks and dexes with the token contracts, see what is it listed or not, and you see all the markets, all the liquidity. So you can make it automatically. You don't need to make a significant work on it. Besides, maybe some description of the project that the team provides and some token logs of the team. So, but the utility-centric non-market metrics, everything else besides market metrics, efficiently, nobody provides. The only token terminal provides some protocol fees for some projects, not all of them. Maybe Aave, maybe Uniswap, maybe like top tier projects, you can get some protocol fees on it, and that's it. And some, just statistic data of how the price changed, how the protocol fees change. So it's captures, it tracks only one original value, right? If you go to staking rewards, for example, the website focused on the consensus, proof of stake consensus and nodes, you can get staking rewards. And what is the reward? What is the amount of staking tokens and some inflation? But it's it tracks only one VCM, the consensus token, and 255 other VCMs are not tracked at all. So yeah, to get understanding of utility-centric metrics, we need to understand how the token is designed, how the value originates, what the value sources, which is already done by me. So I'm building on top of something that I already did. So we need to get the on-chain metrics. So extract the raw data from Dune or for other source, and after that we process this data, build some metrics and build some beautiful charts. And this is utility-centric non-market metrics. So this is what we want to deliver to the community with this. So yeah, what we want to do, we want to solve the information fragmentation in understanding the intrinsic value of tokens, because as I said before, there is no place where you can read about all the token designs or even about 2 of them, maybe only blog posts devoted to 1 or 2 tokens. So and to deliver this, we need to launch utility-centric token tracker, what I'm efficiently doing. So here we have some background, quite a big one, and thanks for T Academy, and that was named T Community, that I think supported me for 6 years in building slowly but surely this vision, providing critics and stuff. So thank you, Angela, for that. I think it was like super exciting, and like I became OG in this token engineering only because being involved in this, because without like-minded people around, we were never able to build anything like this. I think so. So finally, yeah, it's based on our original theory, that is already approved by the journal, for the Academy prize. Thank you. Community voting, the publication pending, and now we are supported by Token Academy, by Optimism Superchain Grant and Open Source Observer, which is the data tracker for all the Optimism ecosystem projects. So we are partnered with them to get some on-chain data and just to streamline our pathway to delivering metrics. And I'm also proud because this is a quite significant project, and what's important, open source project that tries to do everything openly, So it's like some hybrid methodology or something. So hopefully we will deliver some good results. So the approach here is that we define urgency value, mechanism, and implementations. For example, this is a TAO report that, but there was a gradation of work for the students of the academy course. So it's done not by me, by the students. It was quite good piece of work, 30 pages academic report, by the way, which also published. So we're making metrics for origins of value for the mechanisms. For example, if we will talk particularly on Velodrome, there are, for example, the protocol fees per 1V token, the consistency of voting, the distribution of water. So since in Utility-Centric we have two types of cash flow, particularly in Velodrome only one, because the boost part for pools is absent in Velodrome. So we have protocol fees. This is cash flow. We have a conditional action in governance, and we have governance and also risk exposure for blocking tokens to activate all of these origins of value. So we're focusing a lot on governance and governance metrics and on cash flow metrics. Conditional action is much less there because it's just voting, but also the risk exposure, because we need to understand what was the alternative field. For example, if you never log into the Utility-Economic, but you provide on lending market, or you provide in AMM, maybe there was more, profitable opportunity for you to use this token in productive way. So we try to assess all of this, but yeah, in Velodrome particularly, our main focus is on governance and protocol fees. Protocol fees are quite simple because you can just not normalize per 1V token, see the trends of this, how fees are captured, because sometimes token price grows and fees are going down. What the part of this, future cash flow comes from inflation, because some of Velo tokens are also distributed as cash flow for what is called to Velo holders. So yeah, we are not only assess cash flow, but we'll decompose this cash flow to the constituent parts, and you will understand where the money comes from, because it's a tricky question in DeFi all the time. And for governance, the same is deleted by whales. How many people consistently participate in votings? What really there was decisions, how these decisions affect the performance of the protocol, because we see all the other metrics, right? We can just make a comparison. This was vote, how it affect the system, this was vote. Yeah, and what we want to get in like 3 years. So first of all, I want to analyze next 1 million tokens. Of course, it wouldn't be able to done with the manual activities. So I think the manually we will analyze not more than 500. We are trying to build the AI agent that knows everything about my theory better than me. I hope one day it will be a case that they will do everything ourselves, and we will just go to meetups and drinking coffee there. So yeah, I want to analyze 1 million tokens. I want to deliver not only token design, but also token metrics for at least most significant of them. I want to have one link like valueverse.org/token name, and you will know everything about token design, value capturing, and metrics, and use cases, how to use the token in productive way, because even this information sometimes misses on the project Git books and websites. So one link instead of CoinGecko, or complementing CoinGecko for understanding what token is about, the live utility metrics, which will work as a live token report, because projects want to make token reports, but these token reports are getting outdated 2 weeks. So why you need a PDF that is static if you can have a token page on Valueverse, which is dynamically updated with all your metrics, and you can see it every 5 minutes or every hour right now. And what Angela already mentioned, the tracker of the past and future of token design, because the more cases we add, the more cases we can compare. Because if you have a subsystem with a lot of objects, you can compare these objects based on different metrics. This is the beauty. The more tokens we list in Valueverse, the more opportunity for comparison and for learning more about the token system we have. So we will have, for particularly developing this. Yeah, so this is an application, token tracker, value capturing mechanism map for the Ethereum, for example. So we will deliver first 10 tokens, during the next 2-3 days. So, and for the past and future of token design, and having all these token engineering results in one place, we will have the value capture mechanism table, which will be interactive. So you can click, you can see there what is the mechanism about, which tokens using this mechanism. You can in the future you will be able to compare these tokens, see the metrics. So it will be like really some kind of almanac of tokens. And for example, if you're a project builder and you want to deploy your own token, you can go here and see what other people do before you, what were the results. So, and I think it will be quite valuable for founders, also not only just for investors we see in the community of projects. Yeah, so we're launching MVP. It's not only landing, real app is done. this link is broken, so I will provide some other one to join. You have some, private group. I mean, it's of course open for everyone. It's private. It's not just like a community group for chatting about anything. I mean, if you have a project or you want to learn or you want to contribute, I mean, you can come there. We will help you. So now we are listing tier 1 projects, like biggest one, and of course the Optimism ecosystem project, because we are working with Optimism on the grant, and we want to to prioritize this ecosystem that supports us a lot. And Token Academy also is relying on Optimism, so I mean it's very good. And maybe some early partners that will provide us more visibility, but yeah, we want to focus mainly on the Optimism tier 1 project. So if you have some questions, you want to help, you want to contribute, you have a project that you want to add to Valueverse, maybe you exciting about that you want to learn how to decompose your own token into the origins of value and mechanism and deliver some, decompose the token and some analyze the token to us to simplify our listing. We will be super happy with that. So please come and learn. Yeah.
And for everyone who's interested to learn, to learn more about Valueverse and get in touch with you, where can people find you?
So I will be in Bangkok until the 19th. So please feel free to DM on Twitter or on Telegram. I will be happy to meet you, pitch you. I will be also happy to give you beautiful tables, original tables.
Nice. And online?
Yeah, of course, in Twitter and Telegram. So all the contacts. I mean,
it's Valueverse.
And the Twitter is Valueverse Lab, and my Twitter is Vasily Sumanov, as usual, as is mentioned in the Academy. So feel free to write to any of them. Also, they have the Telegram, Vasily Sumanov, just Vasily Sumanov in one. In one letter, it's my Telegram. Please ping me there. If you want to meet in person, I will give you this, or you will get the new supply of token page NFTs, offline NFTs.
All right. Thank you, Vasily. Congratulations for making such great progress. Excited to see what's next for Valueverse. Thank you.